In this lesson, we're going to learn how to overcome the issue of attaching all of the frame together. Alright, so in the last lesson we had started blocking in this last little piece, and now we've come to an issue where it all has to connect to this one piece here. Now, the way that I want to go about doing this is we probably need to go ahead and create some extra pieces, some extra geometry in this to account for that. So to do this, let's go ahead and start out by going to border mode and selecting this border here. And with that selected, we can go ahead and hit cap, and that's going to fill that with an entire polygon there. Now, we're not going to leave it this way. We just want to make sure that we can get started. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out what is already okay. So we'll go ahead and we'll cut from this vertex across to here. And then I'm going to cut from this vertex in the center down to this vertex in the center. And then from here what I can do is just start cutting from these vertices to this vertex here in the middle and just start cutting out triangles. So we'll just go ahead and we'll cut those. We'll go to the other side here, and then we'll go from here up to the center, and then we'll go out to here. Okay, great. And then with that, we can go from here up to vertex mode, or up to that vertex, and then we can go ahead and we can cut from here down to here. Now, before I do that, I'm kind of looking at the topology that I already have, and I can actually go from this vertex across these triangles, just like that, and then somehow connect to right here. And so, looking at this, the only issue that I have is that there is a polygon touching another one. So it's kind of like there's this V of polygons here, and we don't really want polygons like that. They can really cause some problems in the shading. And so what we'll do is we'll actually go ahead and create a triangle right here and here, just to keep that edge. And then I'm going to take this polygon right here, and let's go ahead and delete it and get it out of the way there. Then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and create a new edge that's going to cut across this. Okay, and it's actually going to come up to, let me go ahead and go to vertex mode. It's going to come up to here. So I need two edges right here. So let's go ahead and go to edge mode. Let me select this edge and this one. And I'm going to use connect. And I'm going to split that into two segments. And then I'm going to slide that, or actually, I'm sorry, pinch that. And use slide as well to get those to match as close as possible to those vertices, or to these segments here. Now, if you don't get it exactly, you can just hit OK on that. And then we'll just move those vertices as we need them. So this one can move over just a little bit. Let's grab our move tool and go ahead and turn on the edge constraint. So that way you can move it without messing up the geometry, okay, of what we've already created. So we'll put those there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to right click and target weld these to here, and I'm going to create two triangles, right, just like that. Now I need a segment that's going to connect to those vertices. So let's go to Edit, Swift Loop, and let's create an edge in here. It may take just a moment. You may have to move around a little bit, try to get that. But go ahead and just create an edge in there somewhere. It doesn't matter exactly where, because what we'll do is we'll just go to vertex mode, and I'm going to move those down with that edge constraint turned on and get those as close as possible. Alright, so now that I have that, let's take this edge, let me move that up, or that vertex, excuse me, and let's pull that down just a little bit. Okay, it looks good. And then let's go ahead and go to polygon mode. Let's get rid of that polygon right there, okay, because that's the one that's being covered up and it's creating that V, and we don't want that. So we're going to delete that out. And then, sorry for the moving around so much. When we get in tight spaces like this, it really starts to mess with the viewport. So we'll take these vertices and we're going to weld those together. So let's go ahead and grab that vertex there, and we'll right click and target weld here to here, and then here to there. And that's going to throw off that edge a little bit, but we'll straighten that up. Okay, and then we have a triangle right here, so if we go to border mode, you can select that triangle and hit cap. Okay, so there's that, and then we need to go ahead and fill in the rest here. So if we go to border mode and we select that, you can see it's just that one border. You can cap it, and you can go to vertex mode and you can cut, and you can cut that wherever you need it to be. So I'm actually going to go ahead and cut from this vertex down to here, and it's going to create that triangle, and then we have these quads across the top here. Go ahead and move that up, just kind of redistribute that, just kind of make it a little bit cleaner. And there we go. So now we have all of that together. We've got that in place, and it looks pretty good. Now let's go ahead and go to our left view. Let's take care of those vertices that we had kind of skewed a little bit. So I'm going to take all of these vertices right in here. Okay. Actually, we'll take all of these here because they're basically on the same line. So we need to make sure that they are straight. So we're going to go to X, or actually Z, I believe. Well, we've got, we have our edge constraint turned on. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and go to X there. There we go. So all of those are now in line. That looks good. And then we can see we've got a couple of vertices here that we need to go ahead and connect on the edge of that. And then just do a little bit of cleanup. Let's take a look at it, what it looks like with our high poly mesh. Okay, and we've got a few places that are kind of sticking out here and there, but nothing too bad. And there we go. So now we have the low resolution mesh for the frame. Now the hard part's done. The other pieces are going to be really easy to do. So I appreciate you sticking in there with me. This is a very complicated model. It's got so many different shapes on it. We've got to plan for so many different things. As you've seen with the high poly model, even with the low resolution model, we've got to plan for different things. Now, I know that the low resolution model, we've got several places that we could go ahead and optimize, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to leave it just as it is for right now, because we'll come back and we'll talk about optimizing that. What are some things that you need to know whenever starting that process? We want to go ahead and get the low resolution geometry for the rest of this. So let's go ahead and go to our frame 1 here. That kind of explodes that out. We can see what that looks like. Turn off our vertex mode. Okay, do a couple of checks on your model. One check would be use the overlapping vertices, just kind of see if there are any on the model. There might be a few here and there. It looks like 4 vertices are selected. Go ahead and isolate that, and you can see that vertex there. Select around that. It says 2 vertices selected, so we'll weld that. Okay, that's gone. Update. Now it says 2 vertices. We need to find out where that vertex is. I wish it would zoom in on it, but sometimes we don't get that luxury. It might also help if we change the color of this. So let's change it to like red. Maybe we can get that. Let's try it again. Let's update that. See if we can. There it is, right up there at the top in the middle. It looks like we have some vertices that actually got separated out there by accident. And those are not supposed to be like that, but that's okay. We can go ahead and fix that. All right, so let's just kind of straighten that back up there. All right, so now we're good. We've got our check. We've got 0 vertices. The mesh looks great. Okay, it conforms really well to the high poly mesh. Might be a few points here and there you want to pull around just to kind of get that to cover up the high poly mesh a little bit more, but it's pretty close to being right on the surface of that. So in the next lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to start building out the barrel to this. We've already got the topology set from what we've done before, and so this is going to be very easy to go ahead and start creating at least the barrel part, and then we'll create the underneath portion next. So we'll get started with that in the next lesson.